The upcoming movie isn't the only time Ratchet & Clank have ventured outside their realm of video games. That would be the 6-issue comic series that started in late 2010 and takes place between A Crack in Time and All for One. I know, I probably should have covered this sooner. Whatever. Since there's no gameplay to keep you busy, the story is front and center, and it's every bit as strong as the future games it takes place after. Ratchet's had enough of saving the universe, but when newly elected President Quark informs him of planets vanishing without a trace, he and Clank end up on yet another adventure, and are up against a villain whose motivations hit harder to home than anyone could have expected. I don't really want to give away too much of the plot, because it's easily one of the best the series has ever had. It twists and turns as you'd expect, but the pitch-perfect characterization of all the regular characters, from Ratchet and Clank to Talwyn and Quark, sell things perfectly, and the villain is one of the strongest of the entire franchise. His motivations are completely understandable, and he comes across as surprisingly sympathetic, even while doing the typically dastardly deeds expected of a bad guy. Maybe he's not quite as relatable as someone like General Azimuth, but still, he's very well written. With the writing being so good, it's only fitting that the artwork is equally as strong. The character designs are interesting and recognizable, the backgrounds are beautiful, and the overall aesthetic is perfect, matching the style of the games while also being its own distinct thing. It looks really good is basically what I'm saying. Now, it's maybe a good little series, but it's not flawless. One of my biggest issues is with the cliffhangers for each, issue, which are often rather weak or rely on the "oh no, it looks like someone died" tactic, which falls flat because, ignoring the knowledge we have of future games, we know they wouldn't kill off major characters in a niche comic most casual fans won't even know about. It's less of a problem when reading all 6 issues together, but even so, it's still noticeable. Another minor niggle is the fact that there's very few new characters. Most of them consist of the gang Ratchet's hanging out with in the future series, with the return appearance of classic characters like Captain Sasha from Up Your Arsenal. They're nice callbacks for longtime fans of the franchise, but people who are only familiar with the PS3 games will probably end up being a little confused by such references, and the lack of many original characters means that things often have a very in-jokey feel to them, which isn't always a good thing. Finally, although the artwork looks great, it seems to have trouble communicating when things are moving. Quark kicking a wrench that's caught by Ratchet, for example, is hard to decipher because it's simply on the floor in one panel and then in Ratchet's hand the next, with little indication as to what's happened. It's infrequent, but very noticeable when it happens. Overall, though, I'd recommend the series. It's really well written, looks great, and the only real flaws I can come up with are so small they're basically insignificant compared to the whole. If you're at all a fan of the franchise, you should really try and track these down. Oh, and since I'm talking about comics, I should also mention Ratchet & Clank Bang Bang Bang! Critical Legend of the Galaxy, which is just the most ridiculous yet awesome name ever. It's also a direct translation of the Japanese title, if you hadn't guessed, and it's the name of a manga serialized in Koro Koro Comic from 2004, and released separately in 2 volumes in 2005 and 2008. I don't know too much about it, since it was never translated into English, but judging by the pictures, it looks fun enough, even if it is considered non-canon, and probably isn't worth the effort to acquire. I mean, seriously, they forgot Ratchet's tail. How do you do that?